Hello and finally welcome back to the Trackmania podcast. It's been a long break, but now we are back again with a new microphone and hopefully the sound now is awesome. My guest today is one of the players who qualified for the first ever Trackmania tournament that will take place on a flying plane. It's Affi. Affi, welcome. How are you, man?
I'm fine, thank you, and thanks for having me in the podcast.
Do you feel any pressure now that it's been a little break? You are the first sort of comeback guest and starting a new era here on the podcast.
Yeah, slightly pressure, but I'm just gonna take it easy, and it's gonna be fine.
Yeah. For people that might not know who you are, can you tell us what do we need to know about you? What do we need to know about Affi?
Right, so I'm Affi. I'm 20 years old. I live in Switzerland, and I'm just a student in real life, and in Trackmania, I'm playing since 2010, basically.
And I always like to ask to hear the story about how people got into the game. How did you get into the game? Was it some friend telling you? Was it parents who bought the game for you? What was your way into Trackmania?
Yeah, so it's actually my uncle who showed me the game on his computer in 2010, and I've always been a car game guy. So I thought like, hey, that's a cool game, and I started playing it next to other games such as Gran Turismo on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 2 back in the days, and yeah, that's how I began to play the game.
Do you even remember what kind of maps you played in the start, or was it just a bunch of different maps?
Oh yeah, that was on TMNF. That was on the lone maps server, short maps, and only stadium. So yeah.
Hmm. And did you have any maps that you were particularly good at? Some maps that you actually could compete with others, or how would you sum up your skill in the start of
Oh
your
my,
Trackmania career?
well, 2010, I was only 11 years old, so I was pretty bad at the game. And yeah, so I played just for fun. I didn't really care about the local records. I went for the live rankings and like trying to be the first or second in the live rankings, which is not too difficult now, but back in the days was pretty difficult for me. But yeah, I had a lot of fun
Hmm.
on these servers.
You said that it was your uncle who showed you the game, but did you have any other friends in real life who played it, or was it basically a game you played yourself and not with the real life friends?
No, it was only a game I played myself, and I actually started playing with other people, but not in real life, like in voice chat, pretty late actually.
Hmm. And did you have any sort of because in the start you maybe just joined some random servers, but did you have some people you played more with than others? Someone you saw online on your friends list saying, "Okay, he's playing, maybe I should join him," and you had some sort of friendship there anyway.
Not really, because I had quite like no time to play with school, and my parents set some pretty nice rules, I would say, with video games. So I was playing like 1 hour from time to time and just joining a lone map server. Sometimes as well joining my uncle who was playing as well, but that's pretty much it.
Hmm. I guess the first time I heard about you was in Riolo's stream. He mentioned you, and when I asked Riolo about his nickname, he had a long story about how he got to Riolo's nickname. Do you have a funny story about how you got into calling yourself Affi, or what is the reason behind that?
Yeah, so actually the nickname Affi comes earlier from the game. I we had My name is Sebastian, and we were always two Sebastians in the class. So my friends had to find a nickname for me, and they just kind of shortens my last name, and that comes to Affi in the end.
Huh. And it stick
And
to
I
you ever since then.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
Even now in real life, it sticks to me.
Oh, people actually call you Affi in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, so if people meet you at Air France, they can call you Affi without calling you a
Yeah,
Trackmania name because that's actually something you call in real life as well.
yeah, exactly. That's
Ah,
it.
that's a benefit there. People are always confused about meeting Trackmania people first time. Should I say my real name? Should I say my Trackmania name? But you have that
Yeah,
sorted
yeah,
out
yeah.
already.
Yeah, exactly.
But you obviously nowadays are a good player. You're a competitive player. But how was your road into actually becoming a competitive player? What was the step from being a casual player to being a competitive player?
So I pretty much started in 2015 getting good at the game, pretty much playing a bit more. And that's when I started joining a few teams. I joined my first team called NC Clan. That was pretty much a cut clan in TMNF. And we were just having fun on servers and such. And in 2016, we had a Scream War, basically a time attack war, against the Tryharders crew. That is TC in TMNF still. And that's where the leader of TC was like, yeah, I want Affi in my team. So I joined them, and we had some Scream Wars after that against pretty much good teams such as FWO. And that's where I could improve my skills on basically every styles. I played tech, dirt, full speed, even RPG. So I was pretty much an all-round player. And that's how I got better at the game. Still playing a bit of TM2 next to that, participating in ZRT Cup in 2017, where I didn't go really far. It was only the third round in the cup, but that was just for fun. And yeah, that's how I became better and better at the game.
So you would say that the scrim part of Trackmania was the sort of momentum or sort of thing that made you realize that you can become good at the game and actually help you improve it, becoming good at the game.
I was always looking for the few hundreds to gain on the maps, and just to be more precise on it, and just being the best at the end of the war. Yeah.
And that's something I think is missing from the Trackmania 2 community, that there isn't a lot of scrim wars in it, but I still feel like nowadays there is a lot of clan versus clans in Trackmania Nations Forever. Do I have the right insight here, or would you say that there is not a lot of scrim battles even in Trackmania Nations Forever nowadays?
Yeah, nowadays there are a lot of competitions on Trackmania Nations Forever, actually. We don't really see them because there is not a lot of streams or videos, but there was a lot of Scream Wars, and I did like maybe 8 or 9 Scream Wars in not even 2 years.
Oh, damn.
So with my own team, so it's quite a lot. And we do also internal wars, so all the players in the team against each other, just to have fun and hunt some maps.
But have you ever done a scrim war in Trackmania 2, or it's just been Trackmania Nations Forever?
No, just in Trackmania Nations Forever.
Do you have any idea about why, like, say, the scrims hasn't moved on to Trackmania 2, or why is the reason why people are sticking to Trackmania Nations Forever?
I think the organizers of these wars are in TMNF because there are a lot of small teams, and in TM2 it's bigger teams that want to participate in bigger competitions, I guess.
So have a more casual approach to the game instead of being serious, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
And we talk about the ZRT Trackmania Cup. Why did you actually try out that cup? Because as a viewer myself, I would never, if I had a cup I wanted to play, maybe that wasn't the first cup I would try out. You see in the maps, everybody knows the maps, but why did you eventually try out the ZRT Trackmania Cup?
Well, I wanted to see how good I was at that time in 2017. I knew I wouldn't make it to the stage, like offline event, but I wanted to get as far as possible, and I actually did not too bad, so I was pretty happy with it. And yeah, it was just a little test to see my level compared to some pro players in the scene.
And have you ever tried out the ZRT since then, or was it just a once and a done thing?
Well, that was just once. I wanted to play this year, but I couldn't because I was coming back from a trip in Germany. So that was just the wrong weekend for me.
And then are you planning on playing the next one, which actually can be, in fact, the last the Cup Curator hosts, if you are looking at the rumors?
Yes, I'm really looking forward to play it. That's also why I joined Team Exalti a few months ago, because I thought they asked me to join them, and I thought that's a good opportunity to get as far as possible in the next cup. If we can have some dedicated servers just for us to train the maps and to be with other really good players that went already in the quarterfinals this year would be quite a plus for me.
So you joining Exalti already is a move to get better at the upcoming Serati 2020 Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh. So that is your big goal in the future, or would you say what is the overall goal in Trackmania now that you look forward?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest goal for me. That would mean everything to get on this stage. I mean, it's huge, and it's gonna be even bigger in 2020, like the
Yeah.
biggest stage. And yeah, I think it's gonna be the hardest one to qualify, but I would just give it a try, the maximum I can give.
Have you then
See
been
what happens.
following the Serati Trackmania Cup as a viewer? Maybe this year you saw it as a fan, or just playing as a player?
Well, I followed the ZRT for quite a bit, and yeah, I went to Strasbourg this year with other Swiss players to watch on stage and to watch the stage, and yeah, it was pretty nice, and it gave me the chills to think of me being on the stage actually.
So you were in Strasbourg and I was in Strasbourg, but did we meet each other, or why didn't you say
No,
hello?
no, we didn't.
You should have come and said hello to the international community there.
Yeah, true, true. I didn't because I didn't think of it and didn't know who was there, but I should have done
Yeah.
that.
But
But
did you meet any players then, like the 16 players who actually played on the stage, or?
I met Spam, Rollin, and Pack at the train station the next morning
Oh.
after the yeah.
And how was it to meet the actual players at the stage? Was it cool, or was it weird to actually meet people you have been seeing online, maybe played together with on servers?
Well, that was really cool. I just could say hello and greet them and congratulate them for their performance. But yeah, I was very happy to meet them. That was only a matter of 10 minutes because they had to go afterwards. But that was really cool.
But once you were sitting in Strasbourg in the insanely hot arena, could you imagine yourself actually playing on that stage? Could you some sort of picture yourself in that moment, say, okay, it would be actually cool to play on the stage?
Well, of course, but it was so hot in the room. I was like, yeah, I would be sweating too much, but yeah, if I could play on this stage, that would be my biggest achievement, and I would be done with the game afterwards, I guess, because it's just the ultimate thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. Some people who actually play the Serati Trackmania Cup said to me, "Okay, it's a good thing once you play there, but once you are done with that, you have some sort of hole because everything else will be a small event. It won't feel the same." Would you say that that's maybe true and something that you also could feel if you eventually play there?
Yeah, I think after playing on that stage, it's gonna be hard to have another such a big event. And yeah, it would be weird to come back. I mean, not weird, but it's just not gonna be
Yeah.
that big enough compared to that.
But you understand French, if I'm correct. How would you describe the cast of Serator from, because you understand him from international viewers? They maybe just hear noises and words. How would you describe his cast compared to, let's say, other people in Trackmania, such as Wingo Bear, maybe Ceramics and such?
Well, when we were in the room, we couldn't hear Zerato, so it was pretty much it. But watching other cups from him, his cast is actually not too bad. But yeah, you don't have the inside view from the professional player of the game, such as Riolu commentating some competitions. And sometimes he's just not saying the right words for a technique or for a bug or something like this. But it's actually not too bad.
And how would you sum up your impression from it? Because I did an interview with Serator there, and most of the comments in that YouTube video was that they were surprised about how knowledgeable and how he actually is. Would you also say you're surprised by maybe that he is actually knowledgeable and actually cares about this game instead of just being a showman? Or would you say that French people know that he is that kind of guy?
Well, I discovered him with Trackmania because I didn't know him before, and I think it's quite an opportunity to have him supporting our game and just to make it a little bit bigger with his community. So that's a chance to have him.
And we talked a little bit about casters. You mentioned Riolo. Who do you say is the best caster in the game and the ones you enjoy the most to hear a cast if you want to watch a match?
Well, basically, I'm watching Riolu quite a lot, and for a cast, I had the choice between watching Solary or Riolu for the TMGL, and I went to watch Riolu and Radiance as well for the cast. So Riolu.
Yeah, I agree there. I think he's the best one in the game. But let's talk more about you. After the ZRT Cup, did you have any more, motivation to go to other cups, solo cups in Trackmania 2, or what is the story here?
So I saw an announcement on the Trackmania Discord that there was a cup organized in Geneva, in Switzerland. So I was like, oh, that's cool. That's an opportunity to take. So I just registered to the cup, and that's what brought me back to TM2. So I practiced the map, and I went there to play. It was more of a show match in the end. There was other players, such as Yannex and Loic, Swiss tech player, and I ended up second, and that's when I started playing TM2 again. After that, I was pretty motivated to hunt the solo mode, and actually became pretty good at it. I gathered quite a lot of points, and yeah, I was pretty happy with it. And that's when in 2019 I registered for my first dirt competition.
But moving back to the show match in Geneva, how many people are actually watching that? We now talk about the ZRT Cup with 8,000 viewers. Can you tell us how many viewers was watching that little show match?
Well, we were quite unlucky because it was early in the morning. So we were playing at 9 a.m., I think. So that was like an organization to show in Switzerland, is to show like a few jobs that you can do in the future, and they wanted to have an esport booth, so they organized a few matches on different games during the day, and they put Trackmania in the morning. So we didn't have a lot of people to watch us, maybe like 10. There was a lot of seats, but not a lot of people. But that was pretty fun for a first experience to meet as well other players.
Yeah, how was it to meet other Swiss players such as Yannick and Loic? And who won it?
Loic won it in the end. We were both finalists, but he won it, and Yannex ended up third behind me.
Yeah, that's a solid Swiss base there. I not thought about it too much that Switzerland also has some good Trackmania players.
Yeah, we have quite a few Trackmania players. We have Yannex and Loic for the tech scene, and ZRT with Yannex that went pretty far. And we have also Div that is really good in full speed. And yeah, other players that I might forget, but we have a few talents here.
And you also mentioned that the solo campaign. I don't think I understand it too much, but you gain points basically about how hard a track is, or how does the mode in Trackmania works when you can collect points in the solo mode, let's say the AO1, AO2. How is the system there?
So basically, the more players play the maps, the more points you can get with a world record, basically. So for example, the AO1, you can get something like 23 million points with the world record. And EO5, the last endurance map, is basically, not even a million points, I think. And so it's better to hunt the first maps of the campaign because you get more points out of it. And so you get 23 million points for the world record on AO1. If you're second, you get half of it, third, a third of it, and it goes on like this.
And
so,
by the way, is the point system the same in Trackmania Nationals Forever, Trackmania 2, and Trackmania Turbo, or has it changed from game to game?
In TMNF and TM2, it's the same point system, and in Trackmania Turbo, there is no point system at all.
Okay. And which one is the one you have hunted the most? Is it Trackmania Nationals Forever or Trackmania 2?
Trackmania 2 because you don't have to pay coppers for every attempt. Every attempt counts, so it's more enjoyable to hunt because I don't have a lot of copper in the game in TMNF.
Maybe you can get some donations after this. Tell them your login and maybe someone
Yeah,
will
yeah, I
donate.
will, I will.
But now you said that you hunted it. Who is the once you started hunting? Who was the leader then? And did you have a goal of maybe overtaking the first place, or what goal did you have once you started hunting and maybe tryharding the solo campaign?
When I started, it was Resta in first place, but I was really, really far away, and I thought like if I can get to the top 10 in the world ranking, that would be already sick, and just to be on that front page, you know. And I just went step by step. At the beginning, I had something like 100,000 points on the maps, which was already really good for me. When I got 1 million points on one map, I was really happy, and then I gained more and more points on every maps, and that's how I got to fourth place. And then Eprotizu came hunting the solo mode as well, so now I'm fifth
Hmm.
with approximately 105 millions, I think.
And who is leading at the moment? Is it still Raystar or has it changed?
No, it's Riolu with 200 million points.
Obviously, Royolo is hunting every game.
Yeah, but he's really good at it, so you can't say anything.
Yeah, I guess that's safe to say that he's good at the game. But would you
Indeed.
say that the Trackmania 2 campaign has the same feeling as nowadays? You have obviously people trying to beat every record in the old Trackmania Nation Forever campaign. And I think I was Plastorex who asked about it, and he said that he felt that Trackmania Nations Forever, the maps there are viewed higher than the Trackmania 2 maps because more people play them. What is your view here? Is it Trackmania Nations Forever superior, or is there actual some competition in Trackmania 2, the solo campaign there as well?
Well, in Trackmania Nations Forever, I don't even see myself getting a world record on one of the maps because it's so haunted for such a long time. It's really, really hard. And there are some bugs as well that are not forgiving. But in TM2, there are quite a few records that are getting down pretty quickly and moving from players to players. There are quite a few French players that are hunting the solo mode, and that makes it not so easy as well.
So you're not joining this project to actually beat all the old Trackmania Nation Forever records?
Well, at the moment with the AirFrance Cup and other cups in the future, I don't really have time
Yeah.
for that.
But do you believe that they can do it, or have you been following it? I just seen some Riolo stream and some YouTube videos, and to me it seems like they are close to doing it. What is your view here?
Well, I think that they can get pretty far, but there is one map, which is AO4,
Oh
that
yeah, yeah.
has the world record of 579, and only the TAS has done a 578, so it's gonna be pretty hard to take down this year.
Oh yeah. They also have these short maps, yeah, 5 seconds or something like, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But the
Yeah.
beat is one the once you have to hit your car in the roof and bounce down as well. It's like 10 seconds or something.
Yeah, it's 8 seconds,
Oh
and
damn.
there was a new record this year, so it's done
Oh, they're
actually.
crazy guys.
Yeah.
But I had some people saying that maybe the ranking system isn't or might be actually one of the problems Trackmania has to become more competitive. Maybe we should have some other things so people overall now talking about the ranking system sold now online. But what is your view here? Should Trackmania get a sort of new ranking system, or do you have an idea here about how to change it to make it more competitive?
Mm, I think a ranking system would be good to have in the game. Actually, it's pretty hard to have like a ranking of the players overall. But if we do a ranking system per style or like a mixed ranking system, I think it would be nice and motivate some players to get back into the game to like have a high rank and brag about it.
Mm. Yeah, because nowadays basically the ones with maybe rank 1 or maybe rank 50 isn't the best player in the world, because the best players in the world might not care too much about getting that rank 1, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Hmm.
in the solo mode, there are some players that are just not playing it, so
Yeah.
it's not exactly representative of. how good the player is.
But now let's talk about maybe the reason why you're here and the upcoming AirFrance Trackmania Cup. Let's talk about before you qualified and once you got the news about it. What was your first impression about hearing that Trackmania was going to be hosted on a flying plane?
Well, that was pretty hype for me. I thought, hey, it's during the summer holidays, so I might just give it a try and just put some hours in it in the practice and see what happens.
But did you have a goal of qualifying? Was it just to test it out and have fun with it? What was your goal once you started training the maps?
Well, at the beginning, I was not so confident because I thought there was gonna be quite a lot of players trying it. So I was like, I'm gonna try my best, but I don't think I'm gonna make it. But as we moved forward and closer to the actual like tourney, I saw that there was not that much player playing it, like the top players, and I was like, oh, maybe I can actually make it.
And then once there was a qualifier, did you feel, once you played against the others, did you feel during that match day that you had a chance? Or was it, okay, maybe I have to be extremely good in the grand final for making it?
Yeah, so there was a few people telling that I was already one of the favorites to make it in the plane. And in the first few rounds, that was actually pretty easy. I had really, really good matches. And coming to the end, to the grand final, I was like, yeah, it's all gonna come down to the seeding. And when I saw that Riolu, Spam, Rowling, Papu, and Coco were in the other grand final, I was like, yeah, I have my chance and I can make it if I play good.
But a topic here for this AirFrance Cup is maybe the organization behind it. And for as a player, or if I should put my feet into the shoes of a player, I would feel weird about playing a qualifier where I don't know the exact date when the offline final is going to be. Did that sort of affect your motivation, or would you say that you trained as hard as you would have if you knew that you actually could go to Air France to actually play the final?
Yeah, I trained as hard as I could, and I knew when I made it, I was like, I'm gonna do everything to go there, no matter what happens, the date or the time when we have to go there. And yeah, it took a really long time to have finally a date. It came during October, I think,
Yeah.
and I had to organize myself to see if I can go to it. And I was lucky to have yeah, to have a free time to go there.
Hmm. Yeah, I also said, or I posted a video about my story to it, but I can always or imagine that it must be worse for a player because you actually have qualified yourself and you're still not sure about going. Was there some doubt in your mind that, okay, maybe I cannot go, maybe this won't actually happen? How was your feeling from the moment you qualified to you actually knew that you were going?
Yeah, well, I was really happy at the beginning to qualify, but then I was like, there is always a chance to have a problem, to like to just cannot go. Or I mean, I'm still not in Paris, so I don't know. Maybe on Tuesday when I have to go, there is flights problem,
Yeah.
and you don't know what happens until you are there. So when we didn't have the date, I was prepared to not being able to attend it. But yeah, I'm really happy to be able to.
And how do you feel that now you have two players, from what I know, that won't go? I believe it's Razer and Spam who has given away their slots. What is your view here? Is it understandable? Does it feel weird to have some people stepping out that are actually qualified, or what is your thought process here?
Well, for a competition that is played on a Wednesday, I think we are already lucky to have 8 players being able to attend it because the date came late. It's in the week. So, yeah, it could have been much worse, but it's also really unfortunate for the players that cannot go. And yeah, that I expected it actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess you have been inside the communication, and I have been outside trying to get some sort of inside view. And my impression is that the organizer itself, talking about the Draconia and such, they also have a different or a hard job dealing with Air France. But as a player, what is your feeling here? What is the inside view to the organization from Air France, Ubisoft, Draconia, and such?
Well, the people that were talking to us, like John and Block, were doing everything to satisfy us, but we could feel that there was someone up over them, that is Air France, that is just too powerful, and at the end of the day, they couldn't take the best decisions for us, and they had to say, yeah, well, we had to do it this way because Air France wants to, and that's how it turned out in the end.
And also a topic that was brought up in the start, I believe, was the moment people realized that once you qualified, you actually have to pay your own tickets to actually go there, and it's an Air France or it's a airplane company hosting the tournament. How does it feel for you going there to be some sort of I don't know, promotional tool for them, but you still have to pay yourself to actually go to Paris to be on the plane?
Yeah, I think promotional tool is quite the good word, but yeah, I mean it's gonna be really fun for
Yeah,
me,
yeah, yeah.
so I don't really mind. I don't really mind paying my trip, but considering even Zerator can pay up to 16 players that come from all around the world, and here the player that come from the furthest is Twin, I guess.
Yeah.
So I mean, they could have done something for us, but they didn't in the end. So that's it.
And I realize that we talk about this as a bad thing, but you still are going to be one of the players for the first ever esport tournament on a plane. Have you said that to friends, family in real life? Because obviously I have tried myself to get in there, and just when people ask me what I do, I said, okay, I'm trying to get on the first ever esport tournament on a plane. This is something I bring up in real life. Or is this something you also bring up? Maybe as the first thing you mentioned that my game is going to be the first tournament played on a plane.
Yeah, actually, my parents, that's when they realized I'm actually not too bad at this game. And, and they let me play maybe a bit more now. And and my friends, they also saw me liking the tweet when they said the first qualified players, and they were like, "Yeah, what the fuck is this? What are you doing?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's what you think. I'm gonna play on a plane, which is actually pretty cool."
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have any expectation to how it's gonna feel? Does it gonna feel like playing maybe on the stage in Geneva? Is it gonna be not a lot of space? How do you think it's gonna feel when you actually sit down in the chair and start up the game?
Well, the first thing I'm afraid of is the Xbox pad because I'm playing with a PlayStation 4 controller and I don't have any Xbox pads to train. So I played once with an Xbox pad at a friend's place. So I'm just gonna see how it turns out, if it's gonna be good, or I'm just gonna play like 1 second slower on the max. And as I saw as well Rollin or Dunsty, I think, having quite a hard time playing with an Xbox pad. But I'm just going there just to have fun, not having any pressure of winning or anything, just having a good time and meeting a few people.
Yeah, and maybe that helps. I'm not gonna say it's a good thing that I not heard news about a prize pool being added, but maybe not having a prize pool makes it easier to take it as a fun cup instead of knowing that you could actually win, let's say, $5,000 or something. Would you say that now you can go into the cup as a fun cup instead of try hard in the cup?
Yeah, I'm going in my mind as a fun cup, but I wanna perform pretty good. I don't wanna be last every round and just throw my match away. So I wanna have a good match as well and show that I can be here as well.
When people ask me about who is going to win, I said that I think the shortest player is going to win, the ones who has the most leg room, because once I sit on a plane, I basically need 2 seats to have a comfortable flight. How tall are you?
Well, I'm 180 centimeters, so I'm pretty tall, but not the tallest.
Yeah, so you have a good chance.
Yeah, you can have good chances.
But in all jokes aside, do you have any favorites going into this tournament that you see maybe as a bigger favorite than, let's say, Tween, who's obviously going to play his first tournament with a pad?
Yeah, so basically Riolo is the favorite because he's gonna play with an Xbox pad and he plays with an Xbox pad every day. But I don't know about their pads, but I think Papu and Coco are gonna be extremely strong as well. So that's the top three for me.
And to let people outside the players' bubble know, have you heard anything about the coverage, things about it? Maybe it's gonna be some streams, maybe some coverage with interviews and such. Have you had any information about that?
So we were still asking this week about the stream, if there is going to be a stream or not, and we still don't have the answer. So it's quite a shame.
Oh, yeah.
And because AirFrance is doing some tests and things like that, but it looks like it doesn't looks good actually. And about the coverage, there is some televisions, French televisions, coming here to have some footage in the plane. So I guess it's gonna be nice.
So you are ready to speak fluent French instead of having to answer me in English questions, right?
Yeah, I guess French is gonna be easier for me.
But I said that once I tried, or if I had gone, I will try to contact the national media of players. Have you tried to contact some Swiss newspapers, some outlets saying that, hey, maybe this is interesting for you to write about, maybe some esports outlets from Switzerland or something?
No, I haven't. I don't even know esports organizations in Switzerland. I'm not that much into that. So no, I haven't.
Ah, it's a chance. It's a chance to become the Swiss face of Trackmania.
Yeah, true.
But when are you going there? Because from what I understand, it's starting somewhat early on Wednesday.
So I have my flight on Tuesday afternoon, so I'm landing there on Tuesday. Gonna spend the evening and the night with some other players, which are Rollin, Massa, Dunste, and Rollin. And so we are already there for Wednesday morning. We have to be at 9 at the airport. So that's how it is, and I'm going back home already on Wednesday evening.
Oh, you're leaving so soon.
Yeah, I have the studies to. I
yeah.
have some lessons to attend, so I cannot stay longer.
Yeah, because I know some some players that qualify, like Dunste, Twin as well, I believe, will stay until Trackmania Grand League.
Yeah, I would do the same if I had holidays.
Just find some holidays, some sick leave maybe.
Yeah, I already had my holidays this week, so it's already done.
But then talking about Paris Games Week is obviously worth mentioning the Trackmania Grand League. How much have you followed that this year? Because it's been a long tournament since February and basically ending now in November. How much have you followed?
Well, I basically followed every steps, I think, and also the playoffs in the end, which were really interesting to watch and really close as well. And I'm definitely gonna follow the grand final on the stream.
But moving back to the qualification itself, once it was announced, did you try it out or did you not see yourself playing that and having fun with it?
No, I didn't try because Switzerland was in the group of Austria and Germany. So there was quite a lot of good players in that group. And I think I didn't have a lot of time to train as well. So I didn't even try in the end. But I definitely will try for the season 1.
Yeah, you think this format suits you or?
Can you repeat the question?
Do you think that the format of Trackmania Grand League suits you? Maybe that in the groups that you had endurance format, and now in the playoff you have a rounds format.
Yeah, I think being a mixed style maps can be good for me, such as the AirFrance maps as well. So I think I might have a chance.
And if I ask you who has impressed you the most during this Trackmania Grand League season?
Well, the easy answer is Carl Jr. but impressed the most, I would say Papu. He became really strong this year, has an insane level right now, and I definitely think he can even win it in the end.
So if you had to place one bet on the grand final between Papu, Pac, Kappa, and the last player is Bren, who would you put your money on?
I would put it on Papu.
Oh, Papu, there we go.
Yeah, supporting the dirt scene as well.
Yeah. So you feel like you maybe actually also win something if he wins it, right?
Yeah, why not?
Why not take everything you can, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But one of the first things, like I mentioned that Riolo was the first person that I heard mentioning you, and it was about the Trackmania Turbo's solo mode, the Super Trackmasters there. How is the progress there? Have you stopped after I heard about you, like maybe 1 year ago or 2 years ago? Or how is the progress in Trackmania Turbo's Super Trackmaster hunting, I guess?
Yeah. So I bought the game when it came out in 2016, I think, and I I finished the normal solo mode with the 200 Trackmasters pretty quickly, but then I just left the game, didn't play it for quite a few time, and in 2019, this year, I actually started to play it again. Got a few STMs, like 40, 50 Super Trackmasters, and when I shared it on some Discord that I had, 50 Super Trackmasters, some people said, "Yeah, you should stream it so we can see your progress." And actually, streaming it gave me quite some motivation to go as far as possible. And I actually got a lot of Super Trackmaster really fast, and I'm currently at 142 out of 200. So I'm gonna try to go as far as possible, and maybe why not get the 200 STMs as well?
How many people have 200s at the moment? I know Spam, I know Riolo. Is there anyone else?
There is Azure, Demedi, and Speed, so 5 people.
Okay, okay. And would you see yourself actually making it, or is there a track that you said, okay, that track is going to be really hard to beat?
Well, there are a few tracks that are really hard to beat. Even for me, as only stadium player, there are some valley tracks or canyon tracks that are really hard. So yeah, I think there is always track that you can say it's I'm not gonna make it, I'm not gonna make it. But in the end, if you put enough time in it, you can always do it.
Hmm. And how alive would you say that Trackmania turbo scene nowadays is? Is it completely dead, or is it somewhat alive?
Well, there was a bit of uh, few active people when Riolo went for the 200 world records. Some people wanted to prevent him from getting it, and but now that he doesn't play it anymore, there are a few players going for the STMs as well, such as Dunstay as well.
Yeah.
But the the online servers, I'm just not clicking it because there's nobody, and there hasn't been a lot of people on it since the game came out. But the solo campaign is really good, so that's cool to hunt. But there are not a lot of people.
Yeah, I think also that's what people bring up when they mention Trackmania Turbo, that the good part about it is actually the solo campaign because people had so much fun hunting it, but the lackluster is the online part of it. But if you had to sum up, would you say that the release of Trackmania Turbo has been a good thing for Trackmania? Maybe it's hurt the brand more? What is your overall assessment of Trackmania Turbo as a game?
I think um, having Trackmania Turbo coming out on PS4 and Xbox One was pretty good because there was quite a lot of people playing it, actually, more than on PC. So that has maybe brought new players on TM2 on PC or TMNF as well. So yeah, that's not a bad thing to with this game.
But if you are moving forward, looking, let's say, 5 years into the time, would you hope that Trackmania will release another game, or maybe just focus about making Trackmania 2 Stadium a better game?
That's hard to tell. I think I don't know what the Nadio is planning to do, but I think at the moment right now, if they stick on TM2 to improve the game, that's better. But in 5 years, I mean 2024, that's in a long time. So we'll see what happens.
But do you feel that the game developers is doing what they can to help Trackmania? Some people obviously mention that they just help Serrator, or maybe just being around when his cups is there, releasing blocks. Do you have a opinion about what the game developers is actually doing for the community and the game?
Well, my view, I mean, I don't say it's the right view, but there is a lot of updates, new blocks when there is the ZRT Cup, so they are really behind it. But we can see that they are also helping some cups with Softy, organizing a lot. So they do also a few things. Maybe not as much as when the Darty Cup is happening, but there is still a few updates here and there during the year.
Yeah, and mentioning about SoftDB and events he's bringing into Trackmania, you have now the news about Lyon having a Trackmania tournament. Do you plan on attending any other events besides the AirFrance Trackmania Cup that maybe you want to go to an offline event to compete there, or do you enjoy just playing home and sitting online and watching or playing online?
Yeah, so actually the Lyon Cup actually caught my eye because it's only 2 hours away from my home
Oh,
and by train. So I thought, yeah, that's a good place in France to go because there are some other places such as Gamers Assembly that are just too far away. And I thought, yeah, depends on the style of the competition. If it's only tech, I probably won't attend it. But if it is, I mean, ZRT or mixed style, I might go there and try to do my best.
and what do you then hope that it's going to be mixed styles, or do you hope that it's going to be tech? What is your view here? Should maybe mixed style be now the new main style for Trackmania? Should tech be the main style? Do you have an opinion there?
Well, for if it's only for me, I would say mixed style because that's where I'm the best. But I think yeah, it brings a new era in the game to have a mixed style, and we also see new players performing really good, such as Rowling in TMGL. So that's maybe more interesting to have this right now.
Yeah, I think I'm also starting to more and more agree that maybe mixed style is the real Trackmania when you have all these style combined into one, right?
Yeah. That's in my opinion, it's more interesting to play as a player.
Now, I had a little break from the podcast, but now we have talked for 46 minutes, so I think that's a good length to be back on the podcast with. But is there anything I've forgotten about your career, some topics that you find interesting in Trackmania? Because, in all honesty, I probably forgot some topics that you could have brought up, but is there something I left out that you want to bring out to the people?
I don't think I have another topic. That was quite a complete podcast, so I'm really happy of what we talked about.
Yeah, and if you win Air France, I guess we have to do another podcast after you winning it
Yeah,
because I cannot be there or interview you after it, right?
yeah, we'll see, we'll see.
And then you need to buy a webcam so we have some change from the podcast. And now after winning Air France,
Exactly.
you can ask Ubisoft for a webcam instead of the ticket to Montreal or where it was.
Yeah, yeah, I could.
But yeah, that's
But that,
also a topic because I heard some players mentioning that if they win it, they might actually not go because you have to pay for hotels and such, and maybe it's gonna be expensive. If you hypothetically win the Air France, would you go to Montreal?
yeah, I think that's a cool opportunity to go there and visit the Ubisoft studio. So if I win, I will definitely go there.
And you will bring me with you, right, as the plus one.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, there we have it. It's official. No turning back now. I have my favorite for the AirFrance Trackmania Cup. But thanks so much for stepping up and doing this and allowing the podcast to be back up and running.
Yeah, thank you. And as we like to say at the moment, see you on plane.
What?
See you on
I'll
plane.
see you on the plane, yeah. But do you have any shout-outs you want to mention? Some people that helped your Trackmania career? When I ask it, some people have a long list. Some people don't want to make up a list. Is there someone you want to
Well,
thank that's helped your Trackmania career?
well, I want to thank the few teams I've been in. So the Tryharders crew in Team NF, Paul's team for bringing me into TM2, and of course Exalti now that is supporting me.
There we have it. The podcast is back, and the best of luck to you at the Air France Trackmania Cup.
Thank you.
Bye bye.